Dad Mod's Media Machine presents the Brews with the Dudes podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Brews with the Dudes podcast. I am Jake Lindquist.
I am Donnie Allen.
Yes, you are.
This is our second attempt at doing a Zoom meeting style podcast.
Hell yes.
So this one's a little bit different from last week. We're going to try something new with a guest coming on the show tonight.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to do this. For a long time coming, we've been talking about doing a podcast with guests, and you know, the pandemic has just screwed it up every step of the way. So it's super cool that now here we are. We got the system in place. It sounds okay. It looks okay. Let's make it happen.
Hell yeah. And in a weird sort of way, the Zoom style kind of made it easier to have a guest on because we can tie everybody's schedule in a little bit better.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Like, we're not trying to do this live anymore. And sorry, you guys, I'm not going to make eye contact the whole time because unfortunately, like, the webcam is up a little bit higher than the screen. So I want to be able to like look at the person I'm talking to. So, you know, sorry about that.
All right, so you're trying to look at me?
Well, it makes it more natural. So I mean, that improves it. Oh, the stupid thing has had such bad focus issues tonight. God, that's annoying. All right, so what are you sipping on?
I am topping off the very last two beers I have from last week. But it's the original oatmeal stout, which is just phenomenal. There's nothing special. It's just a good, solid staple oatmeal stout. Nice. It also makes me sleepy, which really sucks. So, like most stouts, it's like eating another meal. It's just a heavy beer.
Yeah. Well, that's okay though. I mean, sometimes that's just what the doctor orders. You know, you just need a good, tasty beer.
A nap.
Yeah. Does it make you tired?
No, it just makes me feel full, which then makes me feel tired.
So it makes you feel tired.
Sure.
You're like, no, but I'm going to explain why it's yes.
My heart tells me no, but my mind tells me yes.
So if you guys remember a couple of podcasts ago, probably like 10 ago, I had gotten a beer called Moped Mischief from Ursa Minor.
Good.
Yes.
Really good.
It's a hazy IPA. It's super good. So this thing is from Ursa Minor. And Ursa Minor Brewing is they're the brewery that we work with to do the Machines and Caffeine events. So I always love to promote these guys. Pretty
Their
amazing beer.
Is super good.
It is.
They have a stout. I think it was just called a breakfast stout. It was a stout I had for breakfast.
I love
breakfast
stout.
Either way, it was phenomenal. Their beers are just top notch.
So what was breakfast stout? Was it what differentiated it from any other stouts?
I had it and it wasn't even 11 o'clock in the morning.
You literally had it.
I had it at one of our Machines and Caffeine. It was like 10:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I'm gonna get a beer because
nice.
Why not? It's a weekend. It's Sunday. Like, I should be allowed to have a beer. If some people can drink a shot glass of wine, I should be able to have a beer.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can appreciate that. Cool. All right. So, or what are you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say I don't think there's ever a bad excuse to have a breakfast beer. Well, I mean, unless you have to go to work.
Or like you have a driver's test that day.
That too. I mean, if you're a taxi driver, don't have a breakfast beer.
Or if you drive the city bus or a school bus, or there's a lot of reasons, dude, to not have a breakfast beer.
If it's your day off and you have no plans, there's no reason not to have a breakfast
unless
beer.
you were born, unless you like were working in the 1950s. It seems like they were just always drinking. And really, like, history before that. From what I hear, everyone was just always drunk.
Well, yeah, you're probably trying to forget the 2 world wars they had before then. Yeah, I'd be drinking 9 o'clock in the morning too.
Okay, that's perfect. That's a perfect segue to we fucked up. Okay, so You remember last week when we were talking about the Cold War? So we were talking about Mighty Car Mods and how the whole like Black Ops Cold War thing didn't make a lot of sense to us.
Yeah,
and
the whole
like
E30 thing and all that.
How did an 80s E30 like correlate to this? The Cold War ended in the 80s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we were like, how does this connect? And we were like, what wars took place in the 80s? The fucking Cold War took place in the 80s. The war that they're like, that actually does correlate. We were wrong.
Okay. Oh,
we're
yes.
sorry.
We apologize for not knowing our wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because oh my god, because it was so funny. Like,
And,
well,
in my defense, I wasn't alive in the 80s, so I just.
Wait, what year were you born?
I was born
of
in
course
90.
You were alive. No, you were alive in the 80s.
I was born in 1990.
You were born in 1990?
Yes.
Well, see, that was actually when Desert Storm happened. So we were like close with that one.
I was born on a military base. I know that one.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, you don't know this about me?
You were born on a military base?
You're one of my best friends. You don't know shit about me. Thanks, buddy.
I know a lot of things about you. I know what your nutsack looks like. I don't know where you were born.
It's not my fault one hangs slightly lower than the other, all right?
It's God's will.
Fort Hood, Texas, which is a military base. From what my mom told me, my dad actually went off to Desert Storm like a month after I was born. Because I was born on a military base, they weren't able to find out what kind of sex I was until the day I was born, because it would something with the military base and the hospital, that kind of crap.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So my dad was a mechanic in the military. Went over there, fixed a bunch of shit, came back. Like I don't know how long he was deployed for. And then we moved to just outside Topeka, Kansas, when he got back shortly after, when I was like 2 or 3. And then moved to Topeka when I was 4, I think. And then moved up to Duluth when I was like 14.
No shit. Okay. Well, that's crazy. Okay.
So we actually went back to Fort Hood when I was probably 10 or 11 at the time. We went back there. My parents wanted to show me where I was born and the house they lived in and all that. And ironically, the house that they lived in is now a tattoo shop, which is kind of funny.
That's very appropriate.
Which I look back at now and just laugh. I'm like, that's super fitting.
You know you're going to have to go get a tattoo there.
If it's still in business, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd totally do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to.
I don't know what I would do. Maybe I'd get the date of the Cold War so I don't forget that it was in the 80s. But
okay, so at 14, you moved back to... That's when you guys moved to Duluth. That's how you ended up up here. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I've been here ever since, for now, at least.
So I don't have any, like, cool birth story or anything like that.
Yeah, because
I was, like, born in the Iron Range.
And then moved an hour southeast?
Yeah. Southeast. Yeah, you know your directions. Well, nice.
I went to college on the range.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, not a very interesting story.
So you went from drugs to slightly less drugs and a big body of water.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't remember any of Texas, and I don't remember even Kansas until I got a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we lived outside Topeka, we had like a double wide, and I don't remember any of that.
No. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different places that we lived too. I think before I was even like 5 or 6 years old, we had lived in like 3 or 4 different places, just kind of bounced around, but it was all in the Iron Range. It was just like sort of upgrading along the way. It was like they were in a trailer for a little bit, and then they like upgraded to a 2-bedroom single family, and then 3-bedroom, and so on and so forth, and just
then there was a
did the stepping stone
and
yeah, a large garage, and then
see, the range always surprised me that there's not a lot going on up there, but it's a really beautiful part of the state.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous,
super pretty. It's very pretty up there.
Well, I think that's honestly, I think that's the case with most of our country. I mean, there's a few states that are like super flat, and there's some that are,
Northern Iowa, we're looking at you. on that one.
Eastern Washington, especially on like the I-90 strip where you're coming through the mountains. Once you get through the mountains, it's just a hideous section. Like it's farmland, and it's like super boring and mundane, and there's just isn't like a whole lot to look at. It actually has like a brown glow. It's really weird.
That sounds like Western Kansas. It's just like some rolling hills, but just farm.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. There's nothing out there, which at the same time, it's like, it's not appealing to the eye, but without all those farms and that land and stuff like that, we wouldn't have the produce and all that kind of stuff that we survive off of.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where you just kind of have to like accept that, parts of the country are sort of ugly, but they're utilitarian. They're serving a very important purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll trade beauty for that.
You got to eat.
Yeah, it's beautiful for the fact that we get to eat it. That's kind of important. Yeah. Oh, it's cool. Like that's one of my goals. Once the kids get a little bit older, is to just do a hell of a lot more traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Taking them out west, especially. Just because you kind of want to approach it in like stepping stones. You don't want to just like go straight to a trip to California by car with a couple of young kids. You want to sort of get them acclimated. One of the places I really
hard.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we did some smaller road trips when I was growing up, and those were always tricky because I was just such an ADHD kid. But I want to take them out to like the Black Hills and Mount Rushmore and stuff like that as sort of like a testing the waters to see how they do.
I see. I've never been there. I have a bucket list. I want to drive in every state. So like eventually I want to go out there. I want to go see Yellowstone, Mount Rushmore. All of that's supposed to be super pretty. Max and Kelsey make that trip what seems like once a year.
Yeah.
And I see all their photos and everything, and it just looks gorgeous there.
Yeah, it's I want to. I don't know what the proximity is from like say the Black Hills to Black Hills
Yellowstone?
to Yellowstone. It might be a decent distance, but that might be like kind of the next step. I'm not sure, but that's what my plan is to just kind of like I'm hoping to get the kids to sort of do that in strides.
Yeah, because road trips with young kids can be tough. I mean, when we went to the Dells. And Harper was okay because the pilot's got that flip down DVD player, so she was entertained. But Roman's so little, he doesn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't.
He watches 30 minutes of a movie and he's done. So I mean, you can tell he's just getting antsy, and that's what a 5-hour drive from here. It's not too bad. It's a smaller road trip. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even just going down to the cities, 2.5 hours. Do that a couple of times to kind of get used to it, and then you just start branching off, and you go 5 hours and 7 hours.
Exactly.
Then you drive to Portland.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how like the kids, there really is sort of like a window where it's the hardest. Like when they're super young, there's just a lot of stops, but there isn't that much drama involved. You don't have antsy kids, so you've got like breastfeeding and stuff like that, or just feedings in general when they're super young.
Just that little bit of fussiness. They need their nook or whatever.
And then there's like the toddler phase where they don't know, like you can't rationalize with them. And you have to like, you're trying to travel and you've just got like, these fussy kids who are demanding things. They're getting bored really quickly, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like around 4 or 5, it must change where they're like able to watch a movie or they're able to like sing a song or whatever, like they're able to occupy themselves a little bit.
Yeah, they can stay entertained a little bit. Yeah.
So you can do a couple hour stretch. You can do a 5-hour stretch of driving.
Yeah, that 1.5 to 3-year-old range is very, very tough.
Yeah,
because like we'll bring toys for Roman and all. They're like, "Oh, here's your truck, buddy," and 5 minutes later, he throws his truck on the floor and just doesn't care anymore.
And then he's just screaming.
He just doesn't want to be in the car, and he's not potty trained yet either. So you got that. Now Harper was like, "Hey, I have to pee." Okay, cool. Next rest stop, we'll pull over. You can go pee. Roman doesn't tell you that, so you'll drive, and then you'll be like, which one of you shit yourself? Just back there smirking or whatever. You're like, okay, now we have to make an unexpected stop, pull over, get you cleaned up. So there's 10 minutes.
Yup. Oh, at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, at least.
At least 10 minutes. Oh man. Yeah, I get it.
So tonight's guest is our good buddy Adin Briggs. We've met him through the car community, local parts store, just a hell of an all-around awesome dude. Also helped us a lot with our podcast in the past, hooking us up with some great audio equipment. So you guys finally get to see a face to go with the name.
Yeah, so thanks you guys for tuning in, and here's our interview, chit chat, whatever you want to call it, with Adin Briggs. Okay, well, let's let's kick this off. This is our podcast threesome here.
Yeah.
So Adin, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Auto owner extraordinaire.
Well, I don't know if I go that far. I'd just stick with Miata owner. That'd be fun.
Well, you do own one of the nicer Miatas in the area. And I heard
That's
the
true.
previous owner was just like the best guy in the world too. So
No,
Yeah.
he's a dick. But that's okay. Sometimes, word gets around about how they lie. True.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely never rode in that car doing mock Jesus around the road course.
that car
And Donnie's
was never
slam
beaten.
shifting it through the gears. That's
So
definitely
that's
never
why
happened.
second is a pain in the ass to get it.
So for the
Hell
viewers
yeah.
at home who don't know, I had a 91 Miata that Adin now owns and takes care of very, very well.
Much better.
You take care of it.
Yeah, I'm
The
surprised.
oil
you haven't-
gets changed, tire pressure gets checked,
Wait. It still has oil.
It does. It hasn't all leaked out yet.
Yeah, that's not really a necessity anyway.
No.
You're fine. How many years now has it been since you acquired it and Donnie sold it?
I don't know, it's been about 4 years, 5 years, Donnie.
I think
Okay.
4, because Harper rode in the Miata once when she was really, really young. And that's what made me sell it. Because, well, let me rephrase that. That's what made the wife upset and why I sold it.
Ah, there
They
it
got
is.
luggage racks. I don't understand what the big deal was. You could have just
Well, she's below
See it
the
on the
window
back.
line, so it's like she's safer than I was.
yeah.
Hey, that's
And
a
she was
good
in a car
point.
seat. So, but yeah, then the following summer I bought the BMW. So yeah, I think that's been 4 years. I think you've
Yeah.
had it for that long.
And I've probably only put about like 3,000 miles on the damn thing in that long.
Oh, wow.
Not
You
barely
just-
any.
The only time I see you drive is around West Duluth. So
That's it.
there's like 2 miles.
Yeah, basically. Work is a mile away, and then I drive it a mile back, and every now and then I'll go to Jay Cook. But yeah, otherwise
Yeah.
it doesn't get driven. It's a good driver's car. It just
Oh, it
sits in
is.
the garage.
Yeah, that happens.
So it's the owner. The
It
owner's
is
the
the
issue.
owner's. The owner's always the issue.
There's some truth to that. So now, what mods have you done to it, Aiden, since Donnie owned it?
Header back exhaust. I put on much softer suspension because riding in that was being
It's-
old. It sucked,
It was too stiff
especially in
for you?
West Duluth. It was way too stiff. Yeah, it's very
It's a
crashy.
sports car. It's a
Ah.
spirited sports car.
I know it is, but the body is not. It can't take it anymore.
Was it getting
Are
more
we-
rattles?
Oh,
Are
it's
we
just-
talking about?
yeah.
We talking about your body or the car's
Oh,
body?
No, my body. Man, getting out of that thing, it is a workout.
Oh yeah,
I have
dude,
to
Ed-
stand up out of it. I can't, like in the pickup
see,
or the
Jake-
Subaru, it can slide out.
Jake never probably had that issue riding in it, but me being 6 feet tall, yeah, you kind of like slide into position.
Yeah,
It's a
It was
really weird
perfect for
feeling.
me. I fit in that thing just fine. Made for guys my size.
yeah, tiny guys, short guys. It works
Tiny,
out pretty
thanks,
well.
buddy.
but- Oh, you're welcome. I got to bring you down to my level. It's really we're below
there
the
it
belt
is.
over here.
He prefers the term petite.
Yeah,
No,
I'll take
I'll
that
take
too. It's fine. As you age, all of these things become compliments. Getting carded, being called small. When all of my peers are sporting, a couple spare tires, then yeah, petite works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this: out of all the cars I've owned, that's one of the few I've really missed. Not gonna lie.
I mean, you're welcome to take it for a spin again. Just don't
No,
beat the hell out of it, you know.
Okay, so that's reason number 1. I can't take it for a spin. Reason number 2 is I probably want to buy another and I don't have the space, I don't have the money, and I don't need the distractions. It's all about self-control, and I know I'm an addict, and I would drive that car, but man, I should really buy another one. And
No,
I
you
abandoned
can.
all my projects.
You can pick them up cheap.
No, you
Really?
can't.
Sure, they're big
No.
piles of junk if you pick them up cheap. But if you buy a nice one,
You say the Stance boys haven't gotten their hands on all the spare
Uh,
ones.
it's a good way to ruin a car.
Yeah, it is.
I was gonna
And the
say,
whole floor plan has holes in it from all the scrapes, and
there
Yeah.
was an NA that popped up like a week ago that was super clean. The guy was asking like $9,000 for it. Oh, there's no way he's gonna get it. I mean, he's definitely way overpriced, but
$9,000.
they're still fetching a decent amount of money. I mean, you're still spending that 4 to 5 range easily for a clean one, if not more.
Yeah, 4 to 5 is a really good price, no matter what. But man, unless that thing's got under 20,000 miles on it and it's mint, then yeah, $9,000 is that's astronomical.
Yeah.
I think it was an older guy who's like thinks he's got this prized possession, the holy grail of cars, and doesn't realize that they haven't quite gotten up to that yet.
Yeah, they've only made 1 million of them.
Yeah,
literally a
Yeah,
million.
Really? Are we talking like all of the generations? There's 1 million now.
I think so.
Jesus,
I could see
They
that.
made a ton.
that like rivals
Well,
the
yeah,
bug. I can see it though. They're everywhere.
Yeah, the Miata is like the Civic of the rear-wheel drive world.
It really
super
is.
simple. They're super simple to work on. They're very reliable, and it's a great platform to start on.
Yeah, really is. I mean, even in stock form, like they're just they're really a perfect car for anybody who just wants to go have a good time.
Oh, yeah, we tested that.
Yeah. I mean, that's not even a euphemism. So we've got a segment that we're going to start introducing now, and
hey, all right, trial.
This is perfect because it's what is the worst car that you've ever owned. So because we're talking about the Miata, I have to assume the Miata is not that car.
No, it is not the worst car. So I guess how are we defining worst here?
It's up to you, man.
Not
That
as
is
fun.
open-ended.
Yeah.
Worst best car. I had a Geo Metro. Worst
Okay.
best.
So that's a 3-cylinder, right?
It's a 3-cylinder. Well,
Sweet.
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
2.5.
Yeah. You go out and you go buy a Geo Metro, it's always going to have the third cylinder is always going to be half dead.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Showroom floor, it's half dead. It's just big piles of shit.
Well, as long as like the outside 2 have good compression, the inside 1 is just kind of helped along. Exactly.
It's all right. Yeah, it's there
They got
to
the buddy system going.
Yeah,
Precisely.
it's just to butler in the next piston as it reaches its stroke. And
There it
it's
is.
fine.
So, what made this thing the worst car that you've owned?
They're tin cans, number one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're not safe. I don't even know if they
you don't
had
say
an
that.
airbag. Well, okay, they're sort of safe. They'll get you safe to your destination, but your destination is always death. So it'll bring you there quickly. It won't allow you to suffer when you get into a car accident. They're terrible
perfect.
vehicles.
God, that's
This
a
is
really
like-
good way of putting it. So in a way, it sort of takes care of the it's not like you break your neck and then you spend the rest of your life a quadriplegic.
Right.
You're just
Instead, it
done.
just takes care of
you're
it
dead.
for you. You're done.
Yeah.
There's no shortcuts. With
There's
that
no
car.
misery, really.
No.
So is
No,
it
it
actually
isn't.
the best car?
It is the best car because it's just quick and painless. So you don't have to worry about anything if you get into an accident. Unlike these new cars with their airbags and crumple zones and the engine drops down if you get into an
Well, yeah,
accident.
in the Metro,
Safety.
you are the crumple zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're the crumple zone. You take the brunt of the force, and then that's it.
Oh
And
man.
you're done. But it really was a great car. I hated it. But it was a great car because it's so lightweight and it didn't have power, so it didn't need any more power than what it had. So you could just throw it in the corners, and
You
if
know-
it rolled over, well, you just tip it back over and you proceed along your way into the next guardrail or deer or whatever else that you can run into and die.
I'm starting to catch a little bit of a theme with you and your car choices, by the way.
They're
Small
death
and
wishes.
terrible and death wishes.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
At least you're consistent.
I have a pretty good average, I would say, at remaining alive because I've had 3 Geos and I'm still here.
Wait,
So,
3 Geo Metros?
I've had 3 Geo Metros and they've all been awful.
Wow.
You can't get higher than awful. So I've peaked. That's it. I have plateaued.
So I love the fact that you've had 3 of these things, and it is the worst car you've ever owned, but you've owned 3 of them.
Because I love them. I love bad cars. I own a Subaru now, and that's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. The Subarus are kind of like the modern terrible. Like they're really good, but they're not.
Yeah.
Right. The transmissions are breaking. The head gaskets go out.
Mm-hmm.
The transmissions break.
Yeah.
Timing belts every 60,000.
Yeah.
Rust everywhere. And well, it's.
Have you ever had to put a rear wheel bearing in your Subaru?
No, I've had to do 2 fronts though, and that's not any fun. And I am not prepared to do the rear one because
the rear. Don't call me for help. I will pay you to take it to a shop to get it done. They're that bad. There's a big trailing arm bolt that's like 7 inches long that slides through everything. Yep. And they don't come out. I've never seen one come out.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. It's
not gonna do
horrible.
Not gonna do it. I'll just trash the car. Whatever.
Just trash it and buy another Metro.
Yeah.
There it is.
I saw one for sale that was a convertible, so that's just death without the top on.
If you can get your hands on a convertible Metro, you've got to do it.
I know I should. They're hard to come by, but every single one that I've ever seen has been immaculate because you're not going to drive it.
Well, yeah, that's true.
When do you? Like, when are you going to drive an Econo box?
Well, and who's going to have the confidence to drive it in the first place?
Yeah, right.
So you buy
Strong
it.
wind comes by and you're blown over.
Exactly. Or just the confidence in like, I'm going to be seen in this car.
Well, you're talking to a heterosexual male, though, that drives a Miata. So it's, in that sense, it's kind of lateral.
Yeah. It's the same car, essentially. It's just...
Sort of.
Worse.
It's
sort
just
of.
1.5 less cylinders.
It's true. It is. Terrible vehicle.
Oh, my God.
I'd buy one again. Heartbeat. Oh, absolutely.
What we got to do is head south. We need to find you a mint, rust-free, something that's just been living its life in Texas.
It doesn't even have to be rust-free. If it has rust on it, that's fine.
You just
not going to hurt my chances of living if I get into an accident, you know?
I suppose. I just mean like bolts will come out, but you know.
Well,
you probably don't
semantics.
have to. So is that part of what makes it the worst car is the fact that it just doesn't die? Like it doesn't break, so you're just always stuck with it?
And that's really what it was. I would not have gotten rid of it if I didn't have another car that I had just bought. I'd still have the damn thing. I'd have rebuilt the engine and the rust would have been just falling all over me constantly, and I'd still have it. They don't die. I don't know why, but...
Because that's the only good thing they can make on them, apparently, was the motor.
That was it. And it wasn't even GM that made it. Suzuki made the damn thing. That's the only thing that they could ever make for car engines.
Can you imagine if Saturn would have gotten in the game with like a Saturn Metro?
So like
it would be plastic bodied. So not only do the motors run forever, but then the plastic body keeps them going. So they'll look immaculate always. There'll just be fleets of these shit boxes running around.
These nice, pristine shit boxes.
Exactly.
You'd be driving around a Tuppermade.
There it is.
So would you just have a big Rubbermaid sticker down the side of it?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not above that. What do I care?
That's awesome. That needs to be our next rallycross car. We need to have a Saturn, and then we need to call it the Rubbermaid.
Do it.
Or Tupperware or whatever.
Speaking of rally cars, so I saw the Civic broken. What happened to it? Did Donnie give it a money shift or something?
This was all Jake.
Was it? Did I break it? Oh, I did. I was driving it. Yeah.
You were driving at the time it broke, but
well, So a video will come out before too long of exactly what we did with this thing. But let's just say that like we found a really sloppy, wet, muddy road next to the train tracks and spent about an hour just torturing the poor car. And the funny thing is, when we're heading on our way back and we go to turn into Skyline Parkway, which is like a mile or two away, we just turn to go into a parking area so Donnie can drive it, and the axle splits in half.
Yeah.
So we're doing J turns on muddy roads, and like just kamikazing down this shitty road, just bumps, like our heads are almost hitting the ceiling. And it all survived that, but it broke turning into a parking spot. This split. And I got to look at the thing tonight, and it's pretty toasted.
Is it a grenade out pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty bad. The whole joint split apart.
Holy shit.
The nice thing though is
camera.
it's a Honda, so we'll spend what, $30 and I'll be back on the road.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you could just wrap the axle in some duct tape and you'd probably go for another 500 miles.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking cars.
Yeah. Well, bear with me. I've got to mess with this camera here to get it to refocus on me.
No, I think the blurred image is an improvement.
It's probably better. Is that like the Instagram white girl filter, or it just like blurs you completely?
Are you wearing Ugg boots right now?
It's what do they call it? Facetune.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm glad I'm not friends with anybody that are Instagram models.
I thought you
want any
are.
part
I
of
thought
that
you know
culture.
somebody who's got an OnlyFans. And she's on Instagram.
I-
Oh, Adin got into the game? Nice, man. Do you want to promote that channel?
Yeah, that's how I afford all those Geo Metros.
Perfect.
Fleets of them. I've only got one subscriber. Thanks, Donnie.
Is he at least a good payer?
It's okay.
Lot of good tips, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good tips. Turn the camera off.
Oh.
That's harsh. No love.
God.
What do you guys got for bad cars that you love, or worst car that you ever had?
I had a Toyota Matrix. That thing, I couldn't kill that thing. And I guess that wouldn't make it a bad car. It's just, it's not a good dude car, if that makes sense. Like you could toss it around, it wouldn't break anything like that, but it just felt cheap.
Really? And it's a Toyota though.
Yeah, but it's a Matrix. You gotta remember, it's got a little bit of Pontiac in it, unfortunately.
Well, are you sure? But so did the Corolla and the Prism. That was essentially the same thing. But I don't know. Maybe their build quality went down.
It wasn't a bad car. It didn't feel like a nice car.
So it's basically just car. There's no
there's no enjoyment out of it.
Oh, boring.
It's great if you're 70 and it's just going to take you to and from book club and the grocery store.
Book club.
But, like if you like to drive, buy something else.
What books do you think a Matrix owner reads? What am I trying to say here? What kind of books do you think a Matrix owner reads?
Books on how to save the planet, how to recycle your sandals. I don't know.
Recycle your sandals.
TV user manuals. I feel like that's what they would read. I think.
Wow.
I think that's probably it. I mean, right? Like they're boring, they're bland.
Yeah.
Which HDMI do I plug into? Well, here
you might be a psychopath if you read that. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe Five owners, Matrix owners are all psychopaths. Do you think like it's the sections on like how to tune your remote, like where it's just a list of numbers?
Yeah, that's got to make sure that they have all the batteries that are the same like age, same brand, and the same everything. Okay, exactly. We've got our batteries set up. Excellent. You got to follow everything to the letter.
Yeah, they're probably the same people that they have that one drawer in their kitchen where there's like 20 batteries for the just in case, because you go through batteries so freaking quickly.
It was just like a bunch of like mostly dead ones.
Shit. Oh, damn
it.
Oh, no.
And you keep recycling those same 25 through the thing.
You never throw them away. You just put them back in the drawer.
Yeah,
I'll
there's still
remember
a little bit
tomorrow.
of life. I just gotta find the right contraption for this.
Yeah. Take them out, breathe on them a couple times, put them back in.
All right, Jake, you're up next. What do you got for a great bad car?
A great bad car. I've owned a few. I'd say I had a 1988 Dodge Daytona that was pretty bad.
I love those.
So
yes.
Here's the
Of
thing.
course you do.
I had a 90. What do you want from me?
Nice. Was that the one that had like the spoiler on the back of it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. See,
God.
mine didn't, but so this was before I knew anything about cars, which is probably not a good time to own a Dodge from the 80s. You know? So it had the 2.5 liter in it, which is a super good motor if you can keep it from popping head gaskets. So that was my problem.
So,
I
it was
didn't
your
know
first Subaru.
Basically, yeah. So here I am. I'm like a 17-year-old kid. I don't know how to work on my shit, and the thing just keeps overheating. And so like I owned this thing for like a year and a half, and I probably put a couple 100 miles on it because it kept like, no matter how many times we redid the head gasket on this thing, it just kept overheating. Well, we're dumbasses and didn't have the head planed. So the thing was warped the whole time.
Oh, shit.
So we just kept replacing head gaskets. Like, what the fuck's the problem with this thing? That was it.
Well,
that's the worst car that I own.
See, that's more operator error, I feel, though.
Oh, 100%. The car is not to blame. But it's the worst because I'm the worst.
All right, I'll give you that. I don't think we're gonna get any arguments.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Because I honestly can't think of another one that treated me that I had that many issues with, because that one just like stood out as having so many problems.
right. Right.
See, my tie is the Matrix and my Saab that I had.
This Saab was pretty
Saab?
cool, though.
I loved the Saab, but it was such a pile of shit. Yeah, I had a 91 900.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, black.
nice.
Black with tan interior. And then one of my buddies had a SPG. He was partying out, so I bought a bunch of turbo parts and I turboed it. And it was boosted. It ran like 5 pounds of boost, but I never really finished it. So like the exhaust stopped at the firewall, and it just was just a pile of shit. Like Jake knows, I blew a coolant hose one night, and the car was just garbage.
What were we doing at the time?
Accelerating onto the highway aggressively.
Yeah. It was funny because it was the one and only highway pull that he and I did. I had the Turbo Del Sol, he had the Saab, and it ended in a glorious cloud.
It stopped traffic.
Well, yeah. It emptied its entire coolant system on your exhaust.
Holy shit.
It was pretty glorious.
Yeah, that car was kind of a pile of shit, though. The ignition key broke off, and it had the ignition in between the seats, so you could just start it with a penny or a flathead screwdriver.
That's some good security that Saab incorporated into their flightless cars.
The flightless cars.
Yeah, it was
made from jets.
Born by jets, but it didn't feel like it.
No.
Like, it might as well just say Sun Country on the side of it if it was born from jets.
Ooh.
It was just
That's not
It's
good.
kinda shitty, yeah.
It's gonna charge you for carry-ons.
Pretty much. Freaking car.
Oh man, but here's the thing: like, I would own an SPG in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
So like the
completely
mid '80s 2-doors, the turbo 2-doors.
So I don't know if I ever told you this. I almost bought another Saab before I bought the E30. After I sold you the Miata, the wife and I were down in the cities at a soccer game, and I was scheduled to go look at a 4-door 90 900 after the game, and the lady texted us halfway through the game saying she just sold it. But I had cash in hand. I was prepared to buy the car, so I would end up having a Saab right now instead of an E30.
God.
Well, I would say at least you got something more reliable.
Oh
but-
yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh,
will
yeah.
be.
That E30. No, I'm pretty sure you're downgrading in reliability with what you're doing to it now.
Nah.
Yeah.
nah,
You
it's
can't
way
kill
more
an
reliable.
M20. Well,
Yeah,
I shouldn't
true.
say that. You've killed the M20 a couple times, but
Yeah, it got thirsty, so it swallowed all the water.
yeah.
When the injector decided it just wanted to shit out at random.
Mhm.
When the intake manifold gasket decided it wanted to shit out at random.
Yeah, small issues considering what you've done to it.
the coil died once.
Yep.
So,
It's a
whatever.
lot of speculative craftsmanship, I would say. But then
Yeah.
again, it's an old BMW that probably got thrashed
Well,
a few times.
it could be
in its life.
I was gonna
worse.
say, you know how I drive my cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Lucas
true.
could have done the electronics on it, so it definitely
Yeah.
could be worse.
Warm
is
beer for
German.
England.
Right. Oh.
God.
All right, Aiden. So we got to pick your brain a little bit here.
Yeah.
So you worked at the post office, or you work at the post office
Currently, yeah.
currently. How many years
Until
you
they-
been there?
I've been there a total of probably about 7 years this January.
Nice.
So a little while. Most of that being a carrier. The last year I've been an auto tech at the vehicle maintenance.
Oh, you're in the auto division now.
Yeah, I
Or
work
section,
on all these
okay.
things that drive around, clunk,
That's
clank,
awesome.
and rattle
So-
apart.
Are they running E85? I thought they were for a minute. Are they still?
The Ford flex fuel vans do run on E85, and the Uplanders run on E85. The LOVs aren't, and the ProMasters aren't, nor will our new Mercedes Metros. Those don't run on E85.
Okay. So
But
what are the ones that we see like zipping around the neighborhood? Like the small normal carriers, the ones that look like an old Grubman or
yeah,
those-
they're old Grummans.
they're
It's
Grubbins.
basic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's, those are the LOVs. They're basically a Chevy S10. It's got the 2.5 in it, and it's pretty standard and simple. Like it's
Wait.
basically the same front clip that is
Are
on
we
your
talking-
shoebox.
Are we talking the Iron Duke? Like
Yes, sir.
this uses an Iron Duke. A
uses
motor
an
from the
Iron Duke.
80s. It's
Yep.
40-year-old motor.
Yeah, and they still unfortunately keep going.
Why?
That's
Why?
amazing.
I know.
Have they
I mean,
made
it's the
any
government.
improvements?
Like I get it, but
No improvements. It's the
Oh.
same thing. Throttle body injected, push rod, boring engine,
No way.
slow.
It's still
It's-
throttle body injection.
Oh yeah,
Oh my god!
just one injector. They're terrible. They're slow.
Did they
they
ever
last
run
forever.
those on E85?
No, but I would love to see them try.
Right. God, I can't believe it's throttle body injection. That's so cool. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess like if it's working, it's one of those things like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Pretty much. That's
Yeah, but-
the entire post office's thing. But when they do try to improve something, sometimes it goes a little the opposite direction.
Yeah, a little
So
haywire.
then we have to recoup all of that.
Fair
So.
enough. Okay, well, so I mean, you've been at the post office now enough years, so you've got a bit of perspective on this. So I'm curious, and we'll talk a little bit more about like how 2020 is affected being at the post office. But I'm wondering, just a random ass question here. So let's say Christmas, the craziest Christmas that you worked in the 7 years that you've been there, how does that compare to handling all the ballots and all the craziness of 2020? So crazy Christmas versus 2020.
Equivalent. Equivalent.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same. So the worst Christmas that big quotes in terms of package volume, I
Mhm.
was doing 110 packages every single day for a month straight. Which I mean,
Damn.
in comparison, the average in
Shit.
the average in the summer for my route was 30 on a daily basis, somewhere around there. So
Wow.
the end of November all the way through the beginning of January was basically 110 a day. And
Jesus.
That's a lot
it
of
was
shit
a lot.
to carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus mail and everything else. And that would get me back at 7 o'clock at night. Right now, I can pretty much guarantee you there's probably 2 carriers still out delivering mail-in packages at 9 o'clock at night.
Jeez.
So for Christmas time in 2020, with the pandemic going on, with more people shopping online, it is creating a substantial burden on the carriers, especially when UPS, FedEx, and DHL put a cap limit on the amount of packages that they will deliver per day. And they can do that, whatever, which means that they hand off all of that over to the post office.
Oh, wow.
And then we deliver them in addition to.
Wow.
So
I mean, that's just a testament to like how much you guys can handle.
Yeah, we do handle a lot, and the ballots getting thrown in there for a month when they surged up. that's small potatoes. Like it really is. Like mail it's our bread and butter. We know how to handle it well. Same thing with packages now. And for the increase in ballots that came through for the November election, it's no big sweat.
That's
we
awesome.
Can handle it. And
see, that was gonna be my next
that's
question.
Impressive.
Yeah, like I was curious, like how did you guys handle that? Because I can only imagine, just based on the voting figures, like of how many people voted this year, and so many of them by mail, how you guys must have been swamped. But it sounds like you kind of weren't. Like you handled it pretty well.
Yeah, we basically think of November as beginner's Christmas, essentially, far as the ballots came in. Okay. It really wasn't overall that big of a deal for most carriers. Like the new ones that were starting out, obviously, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So
kind of a hazing.
Yeah. So you got 60 days of Christmas rather than 30. Right, and it really is. But overall, yeah. It was really all that big of a deal. It was no more an increase in overall volume for November than it was for basically all of December.
God,
we handled it pretty well.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
I'd say we did pretty good at it. So.
See, here I was expecting to hear just like, oh, it was utter chaos and there's people running, screaming, like whatever. Like I can't handle this.
Well, when it's chaos every single day, it's just becomes the norm, and it's just we got some more mail, but it's still chaos, so no big deal.
Okay,
you're just used to it by then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to think of how long Amazon's been around, and maybe this is actually a more staggering change. Were you doing carrying when Amazon kind of became really big and they started doing their 2-day and going with you guys? Okay, so what was that change like?
Was immense. Like,
so that was way worse than the 2020 election.
Way worse. So I started prior to us getting a lot of Amazon. I was doing routes that maybe got 15 packages a day, and that's no big deal. To getting Amazon and doubling to tripling the amount of packages that we got, which is fine because it's all income and it helps all the carriers out and it helps grow the business.
Yeah.
But that being said, at the same time, oh man, right away, when you go from 15 packages to 40 the next day, it's just like, I don't know when I'm going to get done. I'm going to be done at 10 o'clock at night. I have no idea what's going on.
That's crazy. So it's not like you're not even just carrying like normal letters and like whatever the standard size boxes are that you guys have. You're like carrying Amazon sized boxes that are like, oh, this is a hitch for my Tundra.
It's whatever shit you gotta carry that ordered.
Right. Exactly. And dog food and cat litter and everything.
One could be a microwave.
Really?
Who knows?
Really? The amount of weird stuff that people buy. And I'm not separate from that. I've got Amazon Prime too, so I'm buying obviously a ton of stuff as well.
Okay, so what is the weirdest thing that you've carried?
Well, it was from
Donnie has a joke in there somewhere.
I bite my tongue.
I bet Donnie knows what it is. I wouldn't say he ordered it, but maybe it vibrated.
No way.
It happens.
It arrived vibrating.
Well, you could like shake it and hear the motor spin on the inside, and it was phallic shaped. So somebody ordered a vibrator, but the packaging they put it in was only discreet, and there was no label on it defining what it was, but it was just like plastic packaging, so you could squish around it. Like, okay, yeah.
Oh no!
Could you tell by the length and the girth what model it was? Like,
I could not, unfortunately.
This is the Great American Challenge.
It was,
you're holding it up to your forearm and.
Nice.
Oh my god!
I guess you could say you deliver all sorts of packages then.
I am delivering packages on a daily basis.
So now, do HIPAA privacy rules apply to you guys?
Yes. No. Not a clue.
Oh man! All right. Well, that's the craziest thing I can imagine you guys carry.
God.
Oh my god.
I'm sure there's been worse. I mean, you deliver mail out in the college side, and you're getting pot from Colorado, basically.
Yeah.
You can do that?
You're not supposed to.
You can. Depends on your carrier.
You can get it shipped, huh?
Yeah.
I gotta say, like that's a pretty ballsy move. Ordering pot brownies or gummies or even just a pound of whatever from Colorado. That's pretty wild.
It is pretty ballsy because you're kind of banking on, because if we can smell it, we're supposed to report it, and then it gets taken. You gotta. But if you can't smell it, package your shit well. There you go.
That's awesome.
Well, so they expect you to be the drug canine unit then, essentially.
A little bit, yeah.
So
yeah.
So when you drop off somebody's package, do you give it a whiff before you put it on the porch? Are you like, all right, no, this one's good,
dude?
It's a weird carrier smell.
There's a lot of used panties being sold during pandemic. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so the job's, it's a good job, and I wouldn't say it's a thankless job. You get a lot of good customers on your route, and sometimes you get bad ones, but that's like every job.
I have to assume that it's one of those jobs where it's like you're delivering stuff, and people always love to get a package. They love to get mail, whatever. So there's got to be a lot of times you're handing something over, and people are actually like really happy to see you. They're like, oh, cool, I'm getting mail.
I bet you the person with the dildo is probably really happy to see you.
She was.
She high-five you.
All right.
Great.
Mailman.
Calling into work.
Can you come in real quick? My dryer's acting up. Like, sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
How many times have you been hit on by residents? What do you call the people you're delivering to?
Customers, if it's my normal route. Otherwise, residents is fine.
Okay.
That I'm aware of, 0. But maybe once or twice. I don't know.
So the mail carrier's job is very different than the pizza delivery guy. These pizza delivery guys, they got some stories.
Yeah. I was a pizza delivery guy too, but then again, I'm 0 for 0. I've never been.
Well, when you pull up in a metro,
maybe that's the problem.
That's probably it. I'm gonna
say
that's
the
the
Miata
problem.
Now.
It doesn't help
your
though.
chances. Well, maybe not with women.
It's true. And I wouldn't turn it down.
Affection is affection, right?
Affection is affection. I'm flattered. Thank you.
As long as someone holds you tight when you go to sleep, who cares, right?
There it is.
I just need a little love.
Jesus Christ.
Are you a big spoon or a little spoon kind of guy?
I'll be a fork.
Look at this guy.
Right,
trying not to spit out his drink. All right, Adin. So just to close this thing out, is there anything that you want to plug, promote, any projects? Are you doing any type of podcasting anymore?
I'm not doing any more type of podcasting. We did have a Dungeons and Dragons podcast that was kind of fun. It is still on YouTube if you want to go take a look at it. We were under the Free Roll 5. Don't know if the episodes are in order, but they're labeled, so good luck. Have at it.
So we'll add that into the descriptions so that people know how to find it. And then is a topic a month still available? Can people still stream that?
I don't think it's still available. Again, you might be able to find that on YouTube as well. Good luck.
Okay.
I don't know.
That was a great series. So we'll see if we can't find that and help connect people with that. But
hey, sounds good.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you very much for joining us. I think this is going to be the first of many. We'll have to do a
sounds
bunch
great.
more of these.
I'm done with
it. Sounds good, Adin. Well, thanks, man. Have a good night.
Absolutely.
We'll see you
later.
Take
care.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.